Recording.
You can start.
Okay, so for my final major project, I've chosen to do the Norwich Bioscience Institutes, which are part of the research park in Norwich, and it has over 2,500 scientists working there, and a lot of them are students who are from the UEA working in the institutes. Yeah. And so there's 4 main laboratories there, or institutes: Quadrum, Earlham, John Innes, and Sainsbury Centre. And I'm aiming to work with all of them. Both my parents work there, and I've always been inspired by the fact that my parents are scientists. I think that's really cool. So I don't know, wanted to honor them by doing that. And I wanted to do social activism, so SACM, and I'm gonna try and promote women in STEM in those institutes, or celebrate the women that are there already. And I think that it's really important for women to feel empowered in male-dominated industries like STEM. So I'll be conducting 4 interviews, so 1 interview from each institute, with women only, from each institute, and I will ask them questions about their experience working in the Norwich Bioscience Institute, and the community there, and their experience being a woman in this the industry and in those institutes specifically, and how they feel supported and what they do, because obviously it's about science as well, what they're doing, and and their story to and so my video will start with an establishing extreme wide shot of the research park, or the majority of the institutes, and then I will have individual wide shots of each institute, because obviously there's multiple, and I'll have this as an intro, as there's someone speaking in the background, one of the interviewers talking about the institutes, and so that's a way to introduce what the video will be about. And I will have B-roll throughout the video of the women that are being interviewed working in the labs, and representing actual women doing science, because that's what it's about. And then I'll also have B-roll of groups of women together, or having a coffee, or having a walk outside to represent the community of women there. Because I want to emphasize that. My personal target audience would be young female scientists, or specifically biologists, who are looking to. Oh wait. Yes. My personal target audience would be young female scientists who are looking for inspiration or a place to work, or young girls who are, who don't know what they want to do in the future and think, oh, this could be cool. So that would be around from the ages of 13 to 24, I would say. And then also, I want the people of Norwich and Norfolk in general to pay more attention to the research park and how important it actually is and what it's bringing to us. And that would be any age range or gender. And according to Google, which analysed data from HESA, 31% of core STEM students in higher education in the UK are women or non-binary. For the 22-23 academic year, 44% of students enrolling into physical sciences were female or non-binary. This shows that there's still a gap between men and women, and how many women want to go into STEM versus how many men, and it's probably because of they've not been encouraged So it's not a case of girls not wanting to be in STEM, it's just that they've not been encouraged.
It's alright. You alright?
His hand went up.
Yeah, you keep talking.
Oh, I don't know that.
You're fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just keep,
Keep going. You're
keep
fine.
going.
Okay. So the distribution would be, as my target audiences are from the age range of 13 to 24, they mostly use TikTok and Instagram, and a lot of the 18 plus, they use YouTube. So I will distribute and promote my video on those platforms specifically, because that's where my target audience engages the most with. And my visual style would be corporate and professional with a fun element. I want the images and the shots to be clear and not any funky colours or just fresh, and I want it to be well lit and clean sound, and I'm gonna try use a gimbal for my B-roll so that it's steady, because I want it to be as professional as possible, as my client is quite a professional workplace, so I don't want to be too silly with it. And the colour scheme would be some soft colours, like a bright blue, bright green, white, and those are also the colours of the institute themselves. So, and the aesthetic that I've gone for on my presentation or my Wix site, that's not what I'll be using, because it's not what falls in line with the professionalism that the institutes have. So, and I'll be having multiple different camera angles when interviewing, because I want to have different shots and frames. When they start talking about different subjects and it might feel more intimate and personal, the shots can be closer to a close-up. If not, it'd just be a medium close-up. So yeah, I'm gonna have that. And this is my mood board up there. And for my equipment, I will as I'm gonna have two multiple frames and shots when interviewing, I will need 2 cameras and then 2 tripods, and then a gimbal for the B-roll, and obviously a lapel mic, zoom, and a boom, and then lighting equipment.
Okay, well done.
Hey, nice. Okay, so nice one. Nice and clear. It's great that you've got this. Actually, it's really good, because it's not somewhere that most people have access to, which is great. I guess the first question is, how do you want people to feel after they watch this film?
Inspired.
Inspired. Okay. All right. Brilliant. That's brilliant. I want you to use that as the foundation to all your work. All right. So everything that you feel, every answer that you get, every question that you ask, is this going to make my people feel inspired? Okay. And then everything else should kind of slide space. There's quite a lot of stuff in here that hasn't got references to research. So is it assumption or is it research? We just haven't seen the research.
Research. I probably just didn't read it out.
Okay.
But it's
So you're 13 to 24 year olds.
Yeah, that's I have got.
You've got that. You've got that identified in there. Brilliant stuff. And I guess now that you know that, it's trying to identify what it is that interests these people in science. So if you can answer the questions of, what excites someone wanting to get into science, or what puts them off going into science, and then suddenly you've got your interview written for you because you know the things that you're really going to push out there. So I like the idea of you having interviews with people maybe telling their own stories, because that might actually cover a lot of the fears or the doubts that people that you want to get you want to talk to. But do some primary research into that so that we can identify that. 4 interviews is great. How many days are you filming?
Well, so far I only have one interview that I know I'm gonna do,
Okay.
and I've booked out the equipment for it, and I'm hoping I will be able to do the interviews on the same week.
Okay.
So then I have my equipment and it'll be fine. Everyone
Brilliant.
knows, so I've contacted everyone. Everyone is
Brilliant,
happy, but
brilliant.
I just need to work out the dates.
No, that's it. And I guess the more time you can spend there, the better, because
Yeah.
what you'll do is you'll have to set up your interview your people, and then hopefully take them into a laboratory where they're doing the work and all that kind of stuff. I love this idea of also taking them out of the laboratory and showing them have coffee together and go for walks together, because that really does, A, it breaks up the shots, gives you more stuff to show, but B, it starts really showing us that there's a community there and there's support and all that kind of stuff. So that's really nice. So yeah, I like the emphasising of that. Yeah, I mean, you're right about the corporate imagery. It is just kind of making sure that everything's bright and naturally lit and all that. And I think, if I remember rightly, the science park is actually quite nice.
It's
quite nice. Yeah, you've got all of that. But you might need to occasionally bring a bit of light in to kind of lift people's faces and things. I like the fact that you're using their brand colours as well. If on the off chance you can't have 2 cameras, bearing in mind everybody's filming at the moment, it's worth thinking about filming the interview twice. So film it first on your wide or whatever your shot is, and then as you're going through that interview, think, oh, that was a really good answer, that was a really good answer, I'll ask that question again, and then reframe on a close-up, and then film again. Okay. Because I think there's a chance you might not be able to get 2 out of 10, so I'd rather tackle that now than anything else. And then again, can you just show some proof into the research that shows us that your target audience uses TikTok and YouTube? Those kind of things, then that'd be good. But no, it's a nice proposal as well.
It's a really good idea. I like the fact that you're taking it from the standpoint of women in STEM.
Yeah.
Which I think is great. And I've got a really clear sense of what you're trying to achieve with those objectives. And I think it's nice that you're, and same thing, like film groups of women to get a sense of women in STEM and community. I've sort of said here, maybe use a 50mm lens to get some really good close-up shots in the labs. So you've got shots, I don't know if they'll let you do microscope shots, but if you use a 50mm lens, you can use that depth of field and make it look really artistic, which would be nice. Might be something you want to practice with before you go in, so you know exactly how to use it a little bit. I've also said about your distribution, if you do this really well, this promotional film, this is something you could suggest using in schools to encourage women in STEM, because it could be something that the Institute uses to give to schools. Because if you're targeting women from the age of 13, which I think is the right audience, because you're trying to encourage women into STEM early, I think you're right that you could be quite easily distributing that, and you could say, I could use schools because, high schools, because it's something, especially, encouraging more women into science would be really, really good. A good proposal, lots of really good detail on all aspects of your ideas, so that's good. And I just think, obviously, you've got a really clear, strong idea. It's just making sure that you do all the planning and don't rush it when you go and film. Don't panic when you're there. Just think, okay, I've got a shot list. Plan your shot list about a wish list that what you want. You might not get everything, but it's in your head as like, I'd really like this shot. Maybe I can ask them to set it up for me. Yeah. So that you've got, because ultimately you're trying to show that this is a really good career path for women, and you want to show those really nice shots. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah, nice one, nice.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
Thank you.
Can you